Now for some classic world snooker with Steve Davis taking on Jimmy White in a semi-final from the Irish Masters.
Warm welcome to you all once again with Screen Sport's continuing coverage of this, the 1991 Benson & Hedges Irish Masters. Once again we're at the Goffs Hall here in County Kildare for this, the second semi-final between two of the game's finest exponents, Jimmy White and Steve Davis. With the players ready to break off at the start of the match, it's over to your commentators John Pullman and John Skehan.
Great reception for both players. Tremendously popular here.
First frame.
Absolute full house.
Jimmy White to break.
And this is the best of 11 frames. First player to 6 goes through to meet John Parrott in the final.
Foul. Jimmy White, 4.
Well, not a very good start.
Before we start, gentlemen, could we cut out the shouting, please? It's unfair to both players. Thank you.
4 points away. And has left a half chance at balk there, that red will pot. It's not quite as easy as it might have been, but well, Jimmy's decided on playing the safety stroke from it. Going to send that red up the table, leave the cue ball on the baulk cushion.
Jimmy not in any particular trouble. Off 2 cushions back to base.
This time I think we'll see Jimmy having a go at the pot. Looking at it, probably a little bit straight. Can't do a great deal with the cue ball. Well, he was very fortunate there. Little kick, 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 and the cue ball goes right down to the baulk. Well, that was rather fortunate.
And Jimmy a long way off target there. Steve looking at this red to the middle. He's checking that it'll go past the pink. And still checking.
One.
And with good chance of putting a few scores on the board.
Three.
Now Steve looking a bit ahead here. He pots the blue. Pots the red and pots the black. This is what I was intending to say. If he pots the black, it doesn't seem to have a spot to go on. So it would have to go immediately behind its own spot, which would put it right out of commission, of course. A lot to think about here for a few moments.
Ten. $11.
I haven't gone quite far enough to be able to pot the blue and come towards the red, so the black has to be the wall this time. Now, a few problems for referee John Williams. Has to put that black immediately behind its own spot, as close as possible to the reds.
18. $19. $25.
And Steve Davis sets a marvellous example for any snooker player, the way he stays down on the ball until the object ball is actually in the
26.
pocket. You never see him rear away. Remember in the old days we used to watch Alex Higgins with some alarm as he'd rear up after each shot.
That was a good pot from
32.
Steve. He'd got out of position there. He was not on the pink as he intended. They're having to work very hard here. Obviously the black will go.
33.
Oh no, he's concentrating on the pink. I thought he was playing for the black there.
Steve Davis, 33.
Well, I was just about to say that this looked like the Steve Davis of old. And lo and behold, Mr. Pink.
One. 6. Seven.
Jimmy having to work around the blue until he gets black free, which is just setting about.
12.
Well, that shot before that one certainly opened things up a little bit. He put the black out, opened the 3 reds that were around it. Gives him a bit of a chance now. And every shot, it looks better and better.
18.
You can get a red and a black. Once that gets back onto its spot, things are looking pretty good up this end.
90. 26. 27.
'And that black puts Jimmy 5 points in front.
34. 35.
'Well, that all went wrong. Playing to nudge the red out that was on the side
42.
cushion there. That would have kept him onto a red into the corner pocket, but missed it. Now, he can still snick a red in here with a safety shot in mind as well. But that was more a safety shot than
Jimmy
a putt.
White, 42. Foul. Steve Davis, 7.
Now, Jimmy won't be particularly worried about that. I would think he was in a bit of trouble there. Steve had had a bit of luck in sneaking onto that red that was on the side cushion and finishing up nice and safe. He'd put Jimmy in trouble there. A penalty of 7 wasn't so bad because he's got it reasonably safe.
frame very evenly balanced, just 6 points in it in favour of Jimmy White.
An attempt here to bring the cue ball back more or less to where it is at the moment. I think Jimmy will be tempted into having a go at one here. Choice of two. But up to now in this frame, he's been quite a long way away from these long putts. That's more like the Jimmy White we know.
Green ball. Four.
Not what Jimmy had in mind. So back to the safety.
Jimmy
play.
White, 4.
Both players a little tense. Great psychological advantage of winning the first frame in these matches.
Now, can Jimmy hit enough of this to pot it? Yes, he can.
1.
Now, he can pot the black, but there's no way of getting on to the last red. Might play the snooker or the safety stroke.
Jimmy White, 1.
Well, he hasn't got the snooker, but it's pretty safe.
One.
Now, Jimmy now requires yellow, green and brown to make
3.
Steve Davis need a snooker.
Five. Eight. Twelve. 17.
So, frame 1 to Jimmy White.
23. 23 on the frame, Jimmy White.
Steve Davis gets the second frame underway, trailing by 1 frame to 0. Best of 11 frames this semi-final. We go through to play John Parrott in the final.
Jimmy White intended a skinny contact with the red, but maybe not quite that skinny.
One. Yellow ball.
Very awkward queuing for Steve over the entire pyramid.
Steve Davis, 1.
And this
Foul.
time his contact was
Steve
even
Davis,
skinnier.
4 and a miss.
Steve Davis elects to have the ball replaced for Jimmy to play again.
And Jimmy says, why couldn't I have done that the first time? Save 4 points.
Steve playing into the side of the pack. And that seems to work out all right. Jimmy having a close look to see is it possible to put that red in the corner, but it doesn't look like it. So back down for safety.
This is a bit awkward for Steve. Can't get the cue ball back to the ball can. That looked reasonable.
And with a bit of luck, got a nice contact on the red on the bottom cushion. Could easily have fallen in behind it.
Yes, but how extraordinary, John, to see Steve Davis missing pots like that. A couple of years ago, he would have knocked those in all day long without missing one.
He has been struggling a bit with this game. Still a marvellous player, of course, but not quite as scintillating as he was a couple of years back.
Yes, while we're on that subject, John, I often get asked, what's happened to Steve Davis? Why is he not the player that he was? Still a young man. But of course, what people don't realise is that he's had about 10 years at the top, under a lot of pressure all the time, and that eventually must take its toll. Something has to go. And I think it's his problem. A little bit of confidence has gone because of it, and the game is a little bit more difficult now than it was. But still a very great player.
Again faced with a very difficult shot. Red scattered all over the place in the upper half of the table. He knows only too well that Jimmy White requires just one opening. Well, a little bit strong, but that's the best that could be done in the circumstances. Well, I really don't know what shot Steve was playing there. Seemed a most extraordinary one for a tremendous amount of side in this ball.
One. 8. 9.
Jimmy White really should make a decent score here.
14. 15. 20. 21.
Jimmy had a look to see if the Fink would go, and obviously it will. It's the one he played to get on. And it would appear that he only has to mind his work here. A
27.
wonderful opening.
28. 35. 36. 42. 43.
Well, not
49.
quite as he would have liked. The red into the middle, but it's a little bit more of an angle than he anticipated.
50.
Doesn't matter too much to this fellow when he's in full song. But that one is not so good. That, I would suggest, is end of break.
57.
Last break, which puts Jimmy White into a 52-point lead in frame 2, having won the first frame. Well, it wasn't a direct plant, it was slightly angled, and they're always difficult to assess, especially when there are a few inches of air between the balls.
Well, if he plays the blue, he's going away from the reds when potting it.
Six.
Well, still a chance of a Jimmy White fizzer.
9.
And a kiss on the green there that didn't help the positional side. That was a bit
Jimmy
cheeky.
White, 9.
But he's got away with that, would you believe it? Covered by the black. Possible to snick one into the middle or a long one down into the baulk pocket. Neither terribly easy.
Steve Davis, even at this stage, needing a snooker. 4 blacks and all the colours.
Well, we've seen a few flukes this week so far. That was another pretty good one. Not quite as good as the one that Dennis Taylor got the other night on the pink.
7.
That puts this frame beyond any reasonable doubt, I would think.
Jimmy White, 7. One. Eight.
Even if Steve Davis can't win the frame, he can get in a bit of useful practice.
9. Steve Davis, 9.
Yeah, it's not often we see this stuff in use these days. Jimmy not going to bother with putting in extensions. He's already won this frame anyway. Just a little prod reveal.
1. Jimmy White, 1.
And
On the
Steve
flip.
nods in concession. 2-0 to Jimmy White. Jimmy White comes to break in the third frame, I'm joined by Terry Griffiths here, and John Pullman has withdrawn for the moment. Terry, you'd be in a very good position to judge, but Jimmy has lifted his game this year. He seems to be playing consistently well. He gets the odd rush of blood to the head, but...
Yes, his safety plays a bit better this season. But he's also scoring very well when he gets the opportunities, which Jimmy's always been strong at. But a bad safety here has left Steve Davis a good chance.
Six. Seven.
Steve just came a bit too straight on the blue there and has left himself quite a test in red at this stage of the match, 2-0 down.
$30. $90. $20. Blue ball. $25.
Very good shot there from Steve. Slightly unlucky not to be slightly easy on this red. Still available. Possibly a hole for the black, but they'll need the rest. Not quite the precise type of position break we come to expect from Steve Davis.
The extended spider that no one is ever too comfortable with. Well, little grimace. He
26.
felt he should have come better off top cushion. But not in too bad shape still.
$33. $34. 41.
Shorter pace again there for the red at the bottom of the pack. Have to take the white ball through the pack now. Much more power required, making the pot more difficult.
$42.
Yes, his break of 42 so far has been hard earned.
$47. $48.
So is this the
55.
comeback? Steve Davis was down 2-0 against Steve James last night and still came through. Oh,
Steve Davis, 55.
Well, that's an amazing miss from Steve after potting so many difficult shots in that break. He's missed the easiest of shots when in prime position.
One. Eight.
The ball's wide open, every opportunity here for Jimmy to clinch this frame.
Nine.
Yes, all the balls out in the middle of the table.
15.
And I suppose in practice, Jimmy would finish it from here 9 times out of 10.
60.
Jimmy noticeably
21.
taking his time here. You know, this is a very important visit to the table. If you clear the balls
22.
here, it'd be a very bad blow for Steve Davis after missing such an easy round.
$29. $30.
Well, with the ball set as they are, Steve Davis
36.
obviously thinking Jimmy White will definitely clear the board, and Jimmy will be thinking he hopes he clears the board.
37.
That's how the thinking is of professional players.
$44.
And Steve must be thinking
45.
that, but for that missed simple shot, he could have done all this.
$54.
Jimmy White just 1 point behind Steve now, but with everything going.
57. 61. $66.
Just the pink will clinch it.
72.
To this second semi-final at the 1991 Irish Masters, and after 8 frames, well, quite a transformation. Jimmy White taking the first 3 frames, and now Davis with 5 on the trot, leading by 5 frames to 3. As we join the players at the top of frame 9, and once again your match commentators are John Pullman and John
Jimmy
Skehan.
White to break.
Jimmy White, with a lot of work now, has to win the remaining 3 frames to win this semi-final. And Steve Davis must be acquiring more and more confidence as he goes. To win 5 frames against Jimmy White on the trot is not a common experience for any player. Unfortunately for Steve, he cannoned into the black, knocked it out of Jimmy's way. That's obviously no good to him. He hasn't got the angle.
Now already a bit of congestion around the black spot. It suggests this is not going to be an easy frame. Jimmy's got a straight blue on there, but he didn't look at that. The yellow was good enough.
Three.
I think the blue might have given him a bit better position.
Four. Nine. 15.
This frame seems to be following the pattern of the last one, where Jimmy
60.
established an early lead, but it wasn't enough to win the frame.
$21. 22. 27. 28. 33.
Working with that benefit of pink or black. That's 5 blues and a yellow he's got so far.
34.
Quite
Jimmy White,
amazing. Jimmy instinctively
34.
knew as soon as he played that shot that perhaps it wasn't quite hard enough. And proved to be correct. Right on the brink of the pocket.
One.
Well, Steve playing to get onto the black there, but red came up and covered it. Not so easy to get onto a red now from the blue.
Yes, the red's lying awkwardly, a bit congested.
6. 'Steve Davis, 6.
Kind of red that Jimmy can't resist. Usually knocks in.
Yeah, I would call that a rush of blood, John, but he got away with it reasonably well. It's not an easy pot on. That's a good shot.
1.
Deciding on the ball colours to give him position.
5.
And Steve has sorted out some of the congestion of the reds now.
Yes, and I would suggest
Check.
Steve's playing with much more confidence now. It does help a bit, I suppose, when you win 5 on the trot.
$11. $14.
And he's just 14 points behind now.
Yes, that kiss on the blue rather spoilt things there. He'd have been on the red that is to the right of your screen, on close to the cushion. He'd have been on that one nicely. Had he not kissed the blue. Safety stroke's the order of the day now, but he doesn't want to leave that same red on for Jimmy.
Steve Davis, 14.
Very carefully worked out position.
Well, I don't quite understand that shot of Steve's, because this red will go. Well, it was possible, but it didn't go on that occasion. Perhaps Steve knew more than I did, but he'd certainly given Jimmy a chance there. Oh, it's worked out in his favour, so not to worry.
One.
Steve looking for position on the black in order to clear that final red. Not final red this end of the table in here.
Steve Davis, 1.
Perhaps a little bit of nerves creeping in now. The frame that, I've said this so many times, the frame that takes you past the winning post is always the most difficult to win.
1. Five. 6. Nine. 10. 12.
Just this yellow, and Steve will need a snooker. 27 points the difference.
14.
25 on the top. Pretty academic, because Jimmy certainly hasn't finished yet.
17. 21. 26. 10th frame, Steve Davis to break.
Steve looking for that elusive frame that will make him the winner and a finalist. Breaks off in the 10th frame. Probably nudge into the pack.
Well, a difficult one into the middle, but it could pay dividends.
1.
Made it look easy.
Time.
Once again, this frame seemed to be taking the same pattern as the previous two, with Jimmy
30.
getting away in the beginning. Great opportunity here to establish a good lead.
20. 21. 28. 29.
Now that's released another red that's available into the same pocket that the black's disappearing into.
36. 37.
Now there's a red down at the balk end that he could play to get on, or he can go into the pack of reds. He's going to do some disturbing.
Foul. Jimmy White, 37. Steve Davis, 7.
Some of you may be questioning why that is 7 away when it was a red that went into the pocket. Because the initial stroke was on the black, and that is what governs the penalty. All shots are decided by the ball that was originally played.
Looking long and earnestly at a possible plant. Steve will have to think about this one.
1. Six. 7. 12. 13.
Just one red there that would go, and in topping it was able to open up the rest. So this is good now for Jimmy.
90.
It's beginning to look as if we're facing a shootout in the 11th frame.
20. 26. 27.
'Long past the point where Steve will win the chance of winning this round.
33. 34. 40. 41. 47. 48.
'It's amazing how quick this young man is. One side of the
53.
wall, and that's it.
55.
Alex Higgins always had the reputation of being a very quick player, but he used to take time on the shot. He was quick around the table.
58.
Plenty of time on the shot. But this man is absolutely extraordinary. One sight and bump.
62. 67.
So 5 frames all, and the decider to come.
73. 8. Ladies and gentlemen, final frame. Jimmy White to break, please.
So as the American commentators might say, this one's going right down to the wire. 5 all, and this is the one that matters.
Yes, and what a tremendous match this has been, John. With Jimmy White winning the first 3, and then Steve getting a run, winning 5 on the trot, and now Jimmy levelling it at 5 all on the last frame. Tremendous battle.
He's left Steve a pot in the middle pocket.
One.
Take this blue and the red below the centre spot.
Six. Seven. $12.
Tidying up the loose reds before he has to do anything dramatic with the pack.
$13.
Well, he hasn't got that one quite right. Need to be below the line of the middle pockets when potting the blue. Now he has to go into balk and back again. Makes it far more difficult.
18.
Now can only now play a safety stroke.
Steve Davis, 18.
Both players, I'm sure, are acutely aware that one loose shot could cost them a place in the final. Quite a cash consideration here. The losing player here will get £16,000, which is a fair week's wages, I suppose. The winner will get at least 24,000, even if he's beaten in the final. If he happens to win, 40,000. Going to lie up on the top cushion.
Yes, it was interesting what you said then about the prize money, John. So in fact we could say that there could be £25,000 riding on just this one frame. demonstrating what tremendous cue power he's got. But little shake of the head there means that he hasn't got the right angle to come up to the reds. I'll find it very difficult to continue.
He's got pretty straight, Joe. Another couple of inches and he was right.
Wrong.
Now taking on the far more difficult brown in order to try and get onto a red, and he's done that pretty well. And the crowd here is capacity crowd here at Goffs this evening, and tremendous form. Getting very excited.
11.
Has much better position on the blue this time.
$16.
Everything finished up a little tight.
Yes, he's got the red on into the left-hand top corner pocket, but it'll be very difficult to get onto a colour from that. He spotted another one. Of course he has.
He was debating whether there was room for
Jimmy
it, but
White,
obviously
16.
wasn't.
One.
So nerve-wracking moments for both players.
Four. Five.
It's not just the money, of course. Neither of them are short of a shilling, but the pride to maintain their position, to be kingpin.
Yes, and Steve with the wrong angle on the blue again. So this is a bit difficult. A lot longer red than he would have liked.
10.
Trying to pop this and screw round the corner behind that pink and black in the cluster.
11.
Straight blue into the top should see him handily on another red into the left-hand pocket.
$16. $17.
Takes
22.
Steve into a 24-point lead. Still another red there.
Yes, all boiling up to a great finish.
A little bit hard push to get onto colour there.
$23.
Straightish blue.
28. Can we just quieten down, please?
Referee John Williams not only going to control the match, but control the crowd as well. Obviously, they're all getting a bit excited.
Steve Davis,
And a long
28.
straight run into the ball pocket.
Needs a good positional shot now.
Jimmy White,
Well,
1.
he got the positional side all right, but failed to put the brown, and that's a bit unusual for Jimmy. He's a very, very good player with the rest. Not on that occasion.
Steve doing a little
Wow.
demolition work there. Clearing 3 colours at once.
Yes, and that could well be the winning shot of the frame. John, he's opened things up reasonably well. Red by the black will go into the middle.
Five.
He's already 31 points in front.
Six.
Well, whoever wins or loses, John, it's been a marvellous match. 2 wonderful players.
$30.
Steve scanning the scoreboard, finds out that he is 42 points ahead, which should leave him very happy.
40.
And it's all over now, John, bar the shouting. No way that Jimmy can win this frame.
$21. Steve Davis, 21.
The end of a great match. Steve Davis wins 6 frames to 5.
The defending champion then through in a real seesaw battle with the whirlwind Jimmy White. And Davis, holding his nerve in the 11th and final frame, takes the match by 6 frames to 5 and will now meet John Parrott in the final of the 1991 Irish Masters here on Screen Sport on the 6th of August.